Hey guys, it's the Hauntdermotts, and it's time for another episode of Haunted Happenings. And in this case, we went to do a spirit tour in Mystic, Connecticut while we were on vacation. And Katie, do you remember the name?
Yes. So just to give a proper credit, it's Seaside Shadows Haunted History Tours LLC in Mystic, Connecticut. And the tour that we took was Mystic Moonlit Graveyard Ghost Stroll. And that was in the Whitehall Burial Ground.
And guys, this occurred on August 30th, which happened to be a super blue moon that night. So we had a lot of experiences, and we're going to discuss them. All right, guys, so the first thing that I believe happened probably would have been my experience.
Yes.
And this is while they were, I'm not going to go through any of the details of any of the stories, but in this particular story, it was while the tour was talking about a particular spirit, and then something happened.
So just to clarify, we don't want to give any of the Seaside Shadows stories away, but we can still allude to them.
So we're going to give some of the details that as we experience them, but we're not going to give away. And we're going to leave a link to the tour company and the particular tour in the description of this video. But anyway, this was my first experience. So the first experience that I had during the cemetery tour was when the guide was telling a story, and in the middle of the story, I felt a tapping on my foot. And I looked down and nothing was there. And the closest people to me were Katie and Sheena. They were the only ones in the area close enough to have done it. And I asked them both, and both of them said no. I definitely felt a tapping on my foot, but there was no evidence of anything having done it. So I don't know, but I definitely had felt something tapping my foot, and there was no explanation for it. There was nobody close enough besides Katie and Sheena, and both of them said that it was not them. I really don't know what to think, but I definitely feel like I felt that tapping on my foot that day.
So at one point during the tour, they told a story of a child male ghost who people frequently had experiences with in the cemetery. So me and Sheena were trying to make him feel comfortable, so maybe he would give some sign that he was there. And then the group moved on, and myself, all alone in the cemetery, approached the mother's grave of this male child entity and just gave my respects to that mother, and the result was pretty interesting.
And we're going to get to that later, guys. But then after that, you had another experience, right?
I did. So, and apparently this other experience I had is pretty common. Without giving too much away, again, that it's a very sad story that gets told in this one particular part of the cemetery. And we were with a group, and some people were sitting down and listening to it, and then, some of us were still standing. And I kept feeling something like a presence on this side of me. And, we're on a tour with strangers, and there was another gentleman who was next to me, and we both took like two big steps away from each other, and it was very strange. And then when we heard the recount of many things that people experienced while this sad story gets told, oftentimes exactly where I was standing in between me and that other gentleman, a presence does often linger and make itself known.
And guys, right before the tour was over, Katie and Sheena had their own experience, and the guide had talked about going into a crypt. And guys, this was a really creepy looking crypt. And Sheena had been chosen to bring the lantern light, into the crypt. And guys, why don't you talk about your experience inside the crypt?
So Sheena and I went in together. Kevin declined.
It was because I felt like I was too big and tall to get into the
And of
crypt.
course,
So-
I wasn't going to let Sheena go by herself, even
And
though
I wish I
think,
had
I think that
actually.
Sheena had actually went first, our brave little Sheena. So how did you feel when you were down in the crypt?
I had this like weird like energy that like randomly went in me, and remember I was saying like that I didn't want to get out of it because I thought it was cool and stuff, and
Yeah.
you got that
like a euphoric feeling. Is that what you're just?
yeah like I felt that like it was cool to be in there, but it was like really weird because like I've never felt that feeling before. Like randomly, I just got this like weird like sudden energy.
You were like happy to be there.
And
Yeah.
what were you feeling at
And
the time?
I just wanted to get the heck out of Dodge the entire time because they explained, where different parts of bodies had been in this crypt. And Sheena was in particularly drawn to the section where there had been children who had passed. And, I felt like just, first of all, being in that type of environment is spooky enough without any kind of story or anything else. Without it being nighttime, just being in there like that would have been just scary. But I felt immediate like bad vibes, and like I just wanted to get Sheena out of there. But Sheena was like really enjoying herself, and I was like, let's go. All right, let's go.
And I was like, no, I don't want to get out. I want to like adventure in here. Like I want to go deeper. But like I was shining the light, like I was looking around, and like there were these like little things that you could like sit on.
And I was like, don't you even think about it. Don't sit on it.
They were crusty, girl. Like they had like million. It was like really weird. To me it smelled like old metal. Like it had this metallic smell, and like I wanted to sit on those things. Like my mom was like, let's get out. And she noticed that I was like gonna sit down, and she was like, don't you dare. And I was like, why? And she was like, you don't know what's been on that. And I'm like, yeah.
And guys, so that was the last, part of the tour. And, that was their experience in there, and I wish I had had a chance. But after that part of the tour, when everybody was leaving, I went back to the tour guide because we had, our experiences, and I went to confirm. And she did confirm that some of the stuff that we had talked about that happened. And while I was discussing stuff...
Kevin was with Sheena, and I was getting eaten alive by mosquitoes. So I go back to the car, but while I'm sitting and waiting, I had done some recordings
You checked the footage.
I checked my phone, and I linked the Bluetooth to the speaker in the car so I could hear better. And
But just don't forget, I had an experience before you came back with that. When I was talking to the tour guide, I saw something. So after the cemetery tour, after everybody had left, I went back to confirm some of our experiences with the guide. And I had gone over some of the things that we had discussed, and she had confirmed pretty much everything. All of the experience that Katie and I had, she had said that, other people have reported the same thing. She has seen some of the same things. And while I was discussing it with her, I looked in the background of the cemetery, and I saw a figure walking in the woods. And she noticed me looking, and she had asked if I saw something. And I asked her if anybody else had seen anything like that. And she confirmed that there have been reports. And she herself has even seen similar things walking around in the cemetery at night back in those woods. And it was described the same as what I saw. It was a glowing white figure walking along, the woods right at the line of where the cemetery ends and the woods begin. So, yeah, I would say that was a very, very eventful night, and it definitely was warranting this haunted happening discussion here today. So, yeah, guys, we definitely had some great experiences at that cemetery that night. So, Katie, after I had talked to the tour guide, you came back to me with what you discovered while you were in the car.
Yes, so it was interesting because I was expecting if we were going to catch any kind of EVP, it would have been when Sheena and I were trying to communicate with the child spirit.
I
But
said hi too.
that she, and you can hear Sheena say hi. And then Sheena went off, the whole group went off, and I was by myself. And I walked back to the mother of the child spirit, and I just was paying my respects. And as soon as I got back over there, there's something else that you can hear under my voice. I don't know whether it's the child. I don't know whether it's the mother. It definitely wasn't anybody else.
Because I left.
Yeah, I was completely by myself. So.
And then we heard, like when we were listening to the recording, we heard, like, a different voice. It was like, I think it was like the mother. It sounded like a girl.
Katie, you thought it was the child, right?
I
feel it was the child.
I feel like it sounds more childlike, but you know, it's really, really hard to say. We don't know how sound.
Guys, we're
I
gonna.
think it
Why
was-
don't? How about this? Why don't we play the clip
Yeah, and let you guys
and
decide.
everybody could decide for themselves what they think. So here's the clip.
Henry, are you here? Henry, are you having a good time with us? We're friendly. I'm a mommy too. This is my daughter, Sheena. Hi. We're gonna make sure we say goodbye to your mommy. And thank you for being a good mom to you. Okay, have a fun night with everybody. Sarah, it's nice to be here with you and your family. You sound like you're an incredible woman. Sarah, it's nice to be here with you and your family. You sound like you're an incredible woman. Sarah, it's nice to be here with you and your family. You sound like you're an incredible woman.
All right, guys. So those were our experiences.
It was such a wonderful
It was a
vacation
great
in general, but to take time to go on that
Tour,
moonlit
yeah.
grave
Yeah,
tour
it was
was
awesome.
incredible.
All right, guys. So those were our experiences. We were happy to present them to you. Hope you guys liked the video. All right, guys. Happy haunts. See you on the next video.
And subscribe to our channel.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.